Hello friend and welcome to a new video. So today we are going to be learning about edge functions. So edge functions in Supabase are almost like API. So we are learning edge functions as well as how to use APIs just in one video. So this is going to be part number one. We're going to be doing a very simple aggregation API that you give it a name and it will tell you hi. So let's actually see how it works. So here we have a simple prototype where we can say John, and here when you click on say hi, what happens is that it will take this name, give it to the API, and it will return hi John. So if you are looking for a way to learn more about APIs, maybe you want to use them in your app, then you have clicked on the right video. So I will be doing part one and then I will be publishing part two. And don't worry, because you can go to the playlist here and you will find a playlist all about APIs and edge functions, so you can learn more about it. But right now, let's get into the video. So right now, let's actually understand what is an API and what it does. So again, I wanna mention that APIs are almost like edge functions. So right now you might be wondering what are APIs and what are edge functions, and keep in mind, I don't want to confuse you, but edge functions are almost like APIs, like they are real APIs, but APIs have a different use case. So as I told you, I will do a playlist just for edge functions and APIs, and they are the same. If you learn edge functions, you will know how to use APIs and vice versa. So let's actually understand what that is. So here in Flow, let's say you don't want to say hi in Flow. You don't want to do that inside the app. So what do? Is that you check the name and you give it to a certain API. So the API is like the waiter or the waitress in a restaurant. So the waiter or the waitress takes your order and give it to the kitchen and then bring you back the food. This is the same thing what API does. It just checks your order, which is the name. It will take it, then give it to what? This is the actual backend or system. So the API will take it and then give it to the system. So the system or your backend, or you can call it whichever you want, will then return hi Mohammed. It will say hi. It will give it to the API, and the API will give Flow the result. So that's how it works. And APIs or functions can be used for more than just saying hi. For example, you have your Flow app and you want to know the weather of New York, and there is no way you can do that inside of your app. So what you do is that you use an API. So let's say this is your database. This is the system that knows the weather of all the cities in all over the world. All right. So what you do is that you pick a city and then you give it to the API. So this is the waiter in the restaurant. So you give it the order, or in this case, you give it the name of the city that you want to know its weather. All right. Then the API will take that name that you have given it, and it will give it to the database or the system. So the system, what it does, the system will find the weather. It will find the weather. All right. Or in real life, this is the kitchen in a restaurant. So the waiter gives the order to the kitchen. They make the meal. They give it back. They give the results back. So that system or a weather API will then find, or the weather system or weather database will find that New York is cloudy. Then it will give the result to API, and API will then give it back to Flow. So if this is something new to you, so please make sure to just sit down and watch the part again of this video, this part where I will explain it. So it gets very clear, because going further or in the playlist of APIs in this YouTube channel is going to be meant for application and not explain what that is. But to understand all of that, you have to understand this logic. So just stop the video, maybe watch this part again. It won't take you that much. So let's actually get into it. So here we are in Supabase, and to access edge functions, just click here. And then right now, you can either use ChatGPT or AI assistant here in Supabase. I prefer this one because it's more sophisticated than ChatGPT. So just tell it something like, I want an edge function that takes a parameter name and then return hi plus that name. It's like greeting. So just talk about it, talk to it, very, clearly just explain what you want. So I told, hey, I need a function that takes parameter and return. So the most important thing is that what you want the function to take and what you want it to return. These are the most important ones. If you fail at explaining this to this AI or Supabase AI, then you are not going to do a lot with it. So be precise, take your time, make it clear. So the more short and clear you are, the better it will actually be. So now she's generating that edge function for us. So right now you just click on deploy, and now it will deploy your app, and it has given you a link which will be definitely useful. All right, so everything now is working fine. Sometimes you get an error, just make your research and fix your errors. But right now, for if you just like give a simple explanation, then everything will be just fine. So right now we have actually made the H function in Supabase. Now we still have some work to do, but right inside Flow. So let's actually get into it. So here we are inside of Flow. So this is going to be the most exciting part, because on this channel, this is the first video about APIs, and I thought they were complicated, but they are very, very simple. So click on add API, just add an API call. So here you give it a name like greeting. So each API is like a website. You just, give it, you have to have a link. All right. So of course, here we have a function and it's just a link. Copy it, just paste it here. And maybe you have seen other videos try or testing this API. So they paste it right here and they add a variable, after it. So let's try that. So here I have added my name, and let's actually click on enter to see what. So the problem here is that we don't have authorization. Why? Because this API is somehow private and you cannot just go to the web and test it. You have to give it authorization, which is exactly what we are going to be doing. So now when it comes to headers, as I told, this is just for us testing edge functions. For APIs, we will explain every single thing here, but when we talk about APIs, again, check out the playlist, we have everything there. So here are the headers. So when you want to run this API, you will need some headers, and maybe you are asking, what are these headers and how do I know them? So go click on functions and click on detail. So but before we do this, we are going to, so the method is get. So get, don't worry, get is just like read, like we used to do with Supabase or Firebase. We read documents from our table to our app. This is read, right? Just here we only want to get hi plus our name. We just want to read this message, right? We want to get it or read it. So when you go here, they will tell you like, when you see H here, this means header. All right. So they show you that you need authorization and you need content type. You need these two. So that's why when we tried it on the web, it didn't work, because we need an anon key to put inside our call. So I don't want to make things complicated. So this is very important. So you need to type in content type, and you must choose application JSON. So what is application JSON? So I will show it to you later, but this means that, hey, you are asking that waiter or waitress or API to return a JSON. So you say, hey, please, I only want a JSON. I don't want something else. I just need a JSON. All right. So we click here, and now this one is for the authorization. So copy this one between quotes and paste it here. Of course, you must actually go to Supabase. Click here, API key, copy your anon key. So like Supabase is basically just like a very huge API. All right. So Supabase in itself is an API. So just click there. Now you have added two headers. All right. The first header, what it does is that it just tells that I need any JSON. So when you say hi, you don't give it like a text, you give it in a JSON format. So that's it. And I'll show it to you later. Here is just like the API needs to know that you are the owner of this, and that this call that you are adding is coming from your app. So how can it know? It can know by just having this, and then by specifying your anon key. So when the API knows that this call is coming from your app, it will allow it and it will show you the results. So now we are not done. We still have to do something. So right now, when you saw in the prototype that here we make a name here, and then when we click on hi, we pass that name to the API. So this will be a variable. All right. So the name, it will not be the same all the time. It will be a variable. So let's click here and add a variable, which will be the name. So the variable is what allows and like this button to take the information from here and give it to the API call. If you don't have a variable, then there is no way that your app will give information to your API. So variables are how you can take information from your app to the API. It's very important. All right. So we have name, we have string, and default value. You can just add your name there if you like. All right, and save. So we are not done yet. So as I told you, these variables connect your app to the API, but like variables and query parameters, they work the same. So when you combine these two, you can actually pass the data from your app to the API. So let me show you how. So as you can see here, your app will have an information like the name. So your app will never be able to access to talk to the query parameter directly. No. So the information must go from your app to the variable, all right? Then the variable will pass it to the query parameter. So please, this is very important. If you don't understand it, then you will never be able to use APIs in your app, right? Because every API must accept some information from the app, and how an API can accept an information from your app is by using variables. All right, so it's very important. Please, you have to understand that. So now we have a variable. So now, like, we have the middleman. Now we can connect this one to this one. All right, so now we go to the query parameters. We add a parameter which will be the same, like the same here. Nothing is different. All right, name again is going to be from variable, and choose that name. So name here, like the same. Just add the same here. All right, that's all you need to do. So right now, let's actually go ahead and configure things inside of our action flow. So before we go ahead and configure the action flow, we have forgot to actually test this one. So in the name, we can just say a name. And as I told you, this is how the link will be, but the link will not work because there is no authorization key. All right. So click on test API call, and you see that it will return a JSON. This is the JSON. All right. And now you have a message. I say, hi, Mohammed. All right. You can say, let's say John, and say test API call, and it will say hi John. So it's dynamic, everything is working fine. So now let's actually go ahead and configure the action flow. But before we actually do that, if you haven't joined our community yet, please make sure to do so. So I have a link for you in the description down below, so make sure to join our community. This place is just meant for people like you who are building apps with Flufflow. So we are all here trying to share our thoughts and experience and struggles of building apps with Flufflow, and it will be a very, very good place for you to be. So you can join right now by using the link below. And if you want to learn more and build more projects with me, we have a ton of classes that you can actually join. So you can just click on the classroom and choose any course that you want to join. We have start here as a guide. We have this one that will show you how to earn money by just promoting learn no code, and we have a beginner's course. We have social media, AI app, offline app. We have a ton of things, and we are going to be adding more and more and more in the future. So please make sure to join us by using the link below. We will be so happy if you joined us. So please make sure to do that by using the link below. So right now, when you go to Flufflow, you click here and then go to action flow editor, and the first action should be an API call, which is what we have just tested. So API call must be called greeting. So we call this greeting when we made it first. So now, as I told you, to pass the information to the API, you need a variable, and the variable is the same as the query parameter. We said that they are the same, they are linked, nothing is different. All right, so it's like the same thing twice. Right, click on variable and click here, and we only have one variable. And now what is the value? So what is the name? From where you bring the name? We have a widget which is text field. So, and of course the return, you can just say API return, or keep it the same. It's not a big deal. So here they will automatically tell you that if API return, if it was successful, if when the app made the API call, if it was successful at making that API call, then what do is that we actually show that message. All right, we say here in the title greeting, and now here is where things get very interesting. So what is the message that we are going to show or display to the user? It is going to be that result from the API. So the API will say hi John or hi Mohammed. So we have to display that exact thing. So click here and we go to action output and we choose API return. This is what we have just done. And then we choose the JSON body, but here make sure to choose the JSON path. So what do we want? So let's actually, so we want the message. So if you want the message, you just say dot and write the message. All right. Why? So what we have done is because here in the test, so let's click here in the test. So we have so we can have a lot of fields. We can have message, age, whatever, but here in the message, we only need one. We can have multiple. If you have a different one, you can have dot plus that. So just say a dollar sign here. Click here, a dollar sign dot, and then you name that parameter you want. If you want the age, you say age. If you want the name, you say name. That's all you do, all right? So let's actually go ahead and test this to see how it works. So we have run into this problem. So let's actually try something, which is that when it fails, let's actually show another info dialog, and here we just say error. And here we say, sorry, we could not return any value. So let's try that. Hopefully that will fix the problem, because for us, people who don't know code, this is the exact thing that you don't want. And I hate it. So hopefully we will actually, go into test mode to see how everything is working. So here we are in test mode. So this one change fixed all of that. So we are so happy that it worked right now. So let's actually type in my name, click on say hi, and it will give the API a request or a call, and it will return hi Mohammed, and it works for anything that you input right there. So say hi Ahmed, and it will tell you hi man. So this is a very simple showcase of how APIs work. So we will go very, very deep into this API. As I told you, we will have an entire list. So just go to the playlist tab of this YouTube channel and you'll find a place for APIs, and you can learn more about it. So before you leave, please make sure that you have joined our community. Please, we would definitely be so happy to have you here. So please join. It's free. Just use the link below, and we will be, so happy to have such a person like you who is very interested in building apps with Fluffy. And by the way, part number 2 of this video is going to be released maybe the next week, and you'll find all the information down in the description. So thank you so much, and I will see you in part 2 of using H functions in Supabase.